powered by Riverside.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy GQ, and I'm here once again to give you a great episode. And I'm joined today by none other than Boulevard. Welcome back to another great episode. This week, it got a little interesting because the teams made their final cuts for their players to make the 53. And we're going to talk about each team's most notable cut. And we're going to go through the entire 32 teams, and we're going to talk about who got cut, what we think of that cut, and what we think of the future for that player. But before we get into that, Boulevard's got a survey he wants to discuss. So,
you want to do that ahead of time? Okay.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
All right. Well, ESPN did a survey with 103 players asking them questions about the quarterbacks of the league. So, summarize it. Basically, question number one was, who is the GOAT? It said 103 players were asked. 85 said Brady, 7 said Mahomes. Other players received votes. That just says what we already know. Brady's probably the greatest.
Yeah, if you look at it that way, it's definitely Brady. And it pains me to have to say that because I'm not in any way, shape, or form a Brady fan. But when you look at like Brady's entire body of work compared to what, like, and this is no shade on Mahomes because I feel like Mahomes is gonna get there. He's just not there yet. So yeah, right now Brady's the GOAT. But
I guess
in a few years we can change that. We can change that conversation. Somebody is gonna, like, they say the greatest of all time until the next person comes in and steps in and take over your spot. Because there's arguments that Jerry Rice probably was the greatest of all time. Some people will argue Joe Montana. I won't, but yeah. See me, I'm the type, I'll say Michael Vick's the greatest of all time. Or I'll say I'm the greatest of all time. But, people come up and they step in to take your spot. That's what it is. You're supposed to set the bar so somebody can come in and exceed it, So Brady. Ew. Ugh, cringe.
Right. And when, there was rank your top 3 quarterbacks in the league. And okay. I got the list now. My bad. I got distracted. The top 3 were Mahomes, of course, Jackson, and somehow Joe Burrow. Right behind them was Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sorry. Joe Burrow, I think we've seen what we're going to get from Joe Burrow, and I'm not willing to say that he's the greatest in any way, shape, or form.
No, I mean, like, currently in the league, not all
time.
I'm
not going to say he's one of the greatest right now.
No.
I'd say Pat, Mar, and then there's, I'm biased, so I want to say right now Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I'd say the lean Hurts, even though there's really 3 is mostly up, like, debatable, but you can almost just lock in Mahomes and Jackson as the best 2. Because some people will say Josh Allen for some reason. Some people will say Burrow. Some people will say Purdy. I don't understand who's saying Aaron Rodgers at this point in time. Some people will say Hurts. It's debatable. And this just proves it. Most people are locked in 1-2 with Mahomes and Jackson. Are they the most recent MVPs too?
Well,
Can't be a coincidence.
Well, Jalen, it's always going to be Pat and Lamar, but they're going to argue that number 3. I say Hurts, and the reason why I say Hurts, and this is not by all bias aside, is like Jalen Hurts brought you something that, something that Lamar will bring to the table. But what Jalen Hurts did as a quarterback, through exceeding those that like rushing, throwing over 20 touchdowns, and then not only throwing those 20 touchdowns, also rushing for more than 15 touchdowns. I don't know if that's ever been done before. To see a quarterback rush that many times. He almost rushed for 20 touchdowns as a quarterback. I think he had 18 rushing touchdowns last year. That's almost 20. So we have to recognize that as fans of the game and as analysts of the game. Like you cannot like discredit that because he scored more rushing touchdowns than some running backs in the league. So yeah, acknowledge that. You cannot ignore that and say that automatically put Joe Burrow ahead of him when Jalen Hurts is still out here performing. I
He
think
scored
Jalen Hurts
15 touchdowns last season.
15. Okay.
15 rushing, 13 rushing the year before, and 10 the year before that. So he's almost a lock for double-digit touchdowns on the ground.
See, and that's exactly my point. Like, here's the thing about Joe Burrow, and you can say, how many years has Jalen Hurts been in the league, and how many times has he seen the playoffs as a starter? Like every year of his career as a starter, he's been in the playoffs. Like he's not producing bad years as a starter. So say what you want about him, having a bad year last year, he still got his team to the playoffs. There's some teams that will have a bad year and their team still won't get to the playoffs. Jalen Hurts has proven that he should be respected, and there's a lot of Jalen Hurts hate out there. People have to let that go. And I think the reason why, because I feel like if he was on the Cowboys or any other team, he wouldn't get as much hate as he does when he's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, any Cowboys quarterback's going to get hate.
Yeah. But if he's on any other team, he's not going to get the hate that some of these other guys get.
Right.
So, yeah, my number 3 is Jalen Hurts. Please continue to try to argue me down about it.
No, I'm not going to argue it down. My whole thing was more that Aaron Rodgers even qualified. That people are still putting him up there as one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah,
that amazes me. He's old and he hasn't been he was busted last season. He'll probably be busted this season, but we'll get into that. And then you could see the decline the year before that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't see him in the top 5 at this point, especially with Hurts running around and Purdy running around and Jordan Love on a rise. There's no way in hell Aaron Rodgers should be where he is.
Exactly.
So moving on, here were the top vote getters for the rookie quarterback who will have the most successful career.
Wait, say that one more time.
Who will have the most successful career out of the rookie quarterbacks? So it's probably going to play out exactly the way you'd expect it to play out, or anybody would, unless they're just biased as hell. Williams leads the way, of course. Daniels is right behind him, just like the draft. And McCarthy's in the top 3, questionably. Penix Jr. is right behind, and Bo Nix are tied at 4th.
So
basically, they only have hope for Williams and Daniels. I only have hope for Williams and Daniels too.
Okay. I would agree with that, but my issue is, and this is always going to be where I'm going to go with this. Caleb Williams has everything against him, even though a lot of people think that Chicago went out and got him all the necessary weapons to succeed. Got him all the weapons to succeed, but I still think there's going to be a lot of issues with it. And those issues could be we went out and got you Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen hasn't really been healthy a full season in a long time, so I'm not sure if he's going to give Williams exactly what he deserves or exactly what he's supposed to give them. DeAndre Swift, the first time he's played a full season healthy was last year behind the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. And now he's playing against an offensive line I would not be that confident of. So I feel like they're putting an expectation that he's going to thrive with these players, and he doesn't have it. And then the same with Jaden Daniels is he doesn't have the talent around him to be the success that he can be because both of these teams don't have executives in that scouting department or that department where they actually getting you good players. They're not doing that. I think Roma Dunze and DJ Moore could be enough, but I don't think you want them to be enough. You want more because I have no confidence that Keenan Allen's going to be that guy.
The who?
Keenan Allen.
Oh no, I mean he may be broken.
Yeah, I feel like he's left everything that he had back in.
I mean, there's no way they're looking at him as a number one,
right?
So.
But he'll be listed as the wide receiver one.
Yeah, I can't imagine at this point. Nah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because of name value alone, just like Alshon Jeffrey was wide receiver one in Philly when he was not wide receiver one. It's just name value. He had that name, and yes, that's what we're saying. But I mean, I would like to see, I'd like to see all these guys have good years. But I feel like it's still gonna stand in those last two guys. Bo Nix, you're not Drew Brees, and clearly
no, they got DJ Moore as number one on ESPN. DJ Allen Dunze.
That's interesting.
I mean, I definitely would have DJ Moore as number one. I mean,
I don't disagree with it.
But I mean, I'd expect declining numbers out of Keenan Allen compared to the past couple of years. He's got to be on the way down. Like his peak has peaked.
Yeah, I would see that he's going to have the least amount of receptions out of those guys because Roma Dunze is not going to do anything but move up.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he is a chance that he could get more receptions when you consider targets versus reception. DJ Moore will probably get more targets and more receptions, but I feel like the number with Odunze, he'll probably have a tighter number. Like, for example, let's say DJ Moore gets 120 targets but 87 catches.
Right.
I can see that Odunze will get 90 targets and 70 catches. And I think that difference is going to be right there.
Right.
Because there's going to be a tighter bracket or separation between those targets versus receptions.
I like the smell of that. And I like this list. It's pretty accurate. I don't have much hope for McCarthy, even though he gets to throw to Justin Jefferson in the future.
Well, yeah, I think
Penix, I ain't got nothing for Penix, and really I got nothing for Bo Nix either. I mean, even if Bo Nix is a success, I'm not going to admit it. It's like I don't expect much out of either of them. They just don't seem like they got what it takes to carry a team in the pros.
Yeah,
they would be more than a game manager at best. So,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jefferson's gone in a few years. I give it 2 years, if not next year. Jefferson's I am done with this organization.
He's out there looking like Devontae Adams in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it's going to go down next season. Not this season, next season when McCarthy's back.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Most overrated quarterback.
All right, so
go backwards.
The most overrated quarterback. Who you got?
I'm going to go backwards.
Okay.
Brock Purdy, 6 votes. Kyler Murray, 6 votes. Deshaun Watson, 7 votes. Trevor Lawrence, 8 votes. Justin Herbert, 9 votes. Tago, 10 votes. Jalen Hurts, 10 votes. And number 1, Josh Allen, with 11 votes. He's the most overrated quarterback in the league. I agree.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I don't disagree
You
with
can
that.
swap tag Tua and Hurts too, even though they got the same damn number. Hurts don't belong on that list. Hurts was actually an MVP candidate.
Yeah, and that's I think, and that's where I have to I go back to where I was talking about earlier. It's like there's a lot of Jalen Hurts hate out there
Mm-hmm.
because people say that Tua is overrated. Yeah, I mean he didn't start going off until he had two of the most fastest receivers in the game.
Right.
But Jalen Hurts, I mean, granted, Jalen Hurts did have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, but
Yeah. That's actually the quote I have here from an NFC East player. How hard is it to throw jump balls to AJ Brown or Devontae Smith?
I mean,
Last season it wasn't the most easiest thing for him to do. So
but here's my thing. So yeah, take away AJ Brown, take away Devontae Smith. You still have to account for his ability to make moves in open field as a runner.
mm-hmm.
Look at the rest of these quarterbacks. Those rest of those quarterbacks on this overrated list. None of them
Herbert
are
Lawrence, not the most mobile. Watson, Murray, kind of mobile. Purdy, kind of mobile. Tua, not the most mobile. Allen, turnover prone as hell. So
yeah. So when you look at it, like you can't say a guy's overrated when he's an MVP candidate.
yeah,
He's always an MVP candidate. You can't say a man is overrated when he does that. You can't.
Josh Allen's very overrated though.
Yeah, you can't say somebody's overrated when you're scared of what they can do on the run. When you complain about a play that he can move a play, y'all try to get a play that benefits him, you try to get it banned. That's not overrated. That means you're scared of him. You're not scared of somebody who's overrated. Like if you look at Justin Herbert, nobody's scared of Justin Herbert.
Nobody's scared of Justin Herbert. No.
Nobody's scared of Kyler Murray.
Oh no.
No one's scared of Deshaun Watson unless you're a masseuse. And that's my thing. People are actually afraid of Jalen Hurts. Like when people circle that on their calendar when they know they have to go against Jalen Hurts. Is that overrated? That's not overrated.
Like Josh Allen has been propped up for years. And the only time, in my opinion, at least, that he looked like a real strong, solid candidate to be like one of the top three in the league was when Diggs was there. Mm-hmm. Diggs made him look good. The only reason Tua looks good is because he's got Tyreek Hill. Now, if you're a quarterback and your receiver is more of an MVP candidate than you are, you're probably overrated. And that's what happened with Tua and Josh Allen. They were getting by on the strength of their star receivers. So, yeah, I'd put them both as overrated. Hurts, yeah, he's got two great receivers. He's got but a great line last year, great system the year before. But no, he put the work in. He does the work.
Yes.
Hurts is a quarterback. Allen is just something that they had to adjust the system and coach around his flaws to make him look like something. Tua, you just give him the fastest receivers and short, easy completions that can turn into more yardage, and that's how that works. So Hurts is the strongest quarterback out of the main top three on this list. Yeah. I put Lawrence ahead of him as far as being overrated. I put Lawrence way ahead of him. I maybe put Lawrence ahead of Allen as far as overrated. Justin Herbert, Watson, Murray, Purdy, Purdy's not overrated, but the rest of these are.
I think Purdy is heavily disrespected.
Yeah, like they don't give Purdy his props. Purdy deserves a little more credit than he's getting.
And here's another thing
he's in a good system, but you can't knock a quarterback for having a good system.
You can't knock
You can't use that as a knock on them. It's like, how does that work? Because they have a system that they function well in. That means they're lesser than?
No, That's him
No.
being able to learn that system. Like,
Right.
you can't knock somebody for
You
being
have to be able to work the system that you're operating in. That depends on your coach, your OC, and to a lesser extent, you yourself as the quarterback. But you have to be able to function within the system to be a good quarterback, let alone a star or top quarterback. So to knock somebody for having a system that they work well in that's bullshit.
And here's my thing on Purdy, and this right here will wipe the floor clean of it. This will wipe the argument clean of Brock Purdy. You cannot call Mr. Irrelevant overrated.
No, you can't.
You cannot, because if he was Mr. Irrelevant, that means right now he's exceeding every expectation that anybody has had of him. So you cannot call him overrated. He was the last pick in the NFL draft. Everybody said no, and the 49ers was like, well, this guy's left. And they picked him up.
Why not?
That means everything that Brock Purdy does from here on out is exceeding whatever expectation anybody had of him.
Yep.
Even though I will tell you that the 49ers can lick butt, I will sit here right here and I will vouch for Brock Purdy that he may not be the GOAT, he may not be the greatest, but I'll tell you this right now, he's exceeded every expectation that anybody's had of him.
Yep.
Nobody
Most of us hadn't even heard of him before he got drafted at whatever number low at the bottom that he was drafted.
You can't be overrated. You don't know who's overrated? Fucking Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. They're overrated. I'll say they're overrated. Right now, what do you expect them to do? Like, they're not. Jared Goff's not winning that game. His players, the people around him, are winning for him.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all got him sitting there. Y'all put him above Ertz. Let's see. When the next time Jared Goff been in the Super Bowl?
I don't remember what year that was.
That low scoring Super Bowl when they were like, do something.
That's the one. That's the one.
But name me an Eagles quarterback that ever did that. Even the one where McNabb got fucking chewed up and spit out in the Super Bowl. It was at least exciting.
It was. All right, you want the most underrated quarterbacks?
Huh?
Most underrated quarterback.
The most underrated quarterback?
Yep. You won't believe what happened. All right. I'm going to start again from the bottom. Tied at 4 votes each. Dak, Lamar, Hurts, and Tua. With 6 votes, Justin Herbert, the pervert. Yes. And we've tied for 3, Cousins, Goff, Love, and Bryce Young. I don't know how the hell Bryce Young is underrated, but I'm not even going to speak on that one because I'm sure you got plenty of fire for that.
Okay, so everything about that. Oh, you got more?
I still got 2 more.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Tied for number 1, most underrated quarterbacks. You just mentioned him. You actually just mentioned both of them. Matthew Stafford and Brock Purdy.
All right. My first thing I'm going to say is these lists are retarded. I'm sorry.
No, players picked this list. They can't be wrong. The players picked
They're absolutely wrong. And I'm sorry about using the R word. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm working on it. I'm sorry. This list is stupid because how can someone be the most overrated and the most underrated? How do you do that? Please, someone explain to me how you can put somebody as the most overrated and the most underrated. You got to be. It's
just numbers, man. It's numbers. I don't know.
To put Kirk Cousins as underrated. How's Kirk Cousins underrated? The man just got $181 million.
He has ripped off 2 teams.
Yes.
He ripped off. No, plus he got him. Like I kept getting it with the Redskins. He was getting a fucking franchise every year in Washington. Right. Then he ripped off the fucking Vikings. Then he ripped off the damn Falcons. And you're like, he underrated? No, he's overrated. If you expect anything as far as getting beyond wild card round, then you got him overrated because you ain't going no further with Kirk Cousins at your quarterback. So yeah, he's not he's not underrated. We know what he is, and we crowned his ass average. So,
Mid.
right.
I mean, listen. I don't know whose idea it was to go around asking players to give me intelligent information, but this ain't it. Let's not do that ever again, Espen. All right, let's move on because I can't. They're gonna lose my energy.
Oh, come on! You're just gonna ignore Bryce Young sitting there at underrated?
Okay. Now I could, if you want to give it some argument that Bryce Young is underrated, I'll give him this. He plays for the Carolina Panthers. That's it. That's the only argument for him being underrated because
2,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
That's not
Tell
underrated.
me how that's underrated.
That's garbage. He is not a quarterback, and I keep saying it, and I'm not going to change how I feel about it. He is not a quarterback. He's listed at 5'10". I don't see it. Listed as 204 pounds. I don't see it.
You know,
I've seen Kyler Murray
this season. I bet he is about 204 this season.
No, I've seen Kyler Murray listed at 190, and I've seen Bryce Young. Kyler Murray is a stocky dude. Bryce Young is a little skinny dude. So there's no way you can say that Kyler Murray is listed at 5'10", 190, and then you have Bryce Young standing there at 5'10", 204. No. So that doesn't make sense to me.
Bronny.
He's a bigger dude. Like Kyler Murray is a bigger dude.
So Bronny, I mean, Kyler Murray was a baseball player too, so he was in that shit year round in the gym.
Yeah,
so he should be a little stockier, a little more athletically built.
So I'm not. Frankly, he's not a quarterback. I don't know what position he is. Maybe he's a kick returner or something, but he's not a quarterback. And I don't know how many seasons it's going to take for him to underperform before it clicks in his head. Listen, I'll say this. If Bryce Young doesn't throw 25 touchdowns this year, and in this league, it is really easy to get 25 touchdowns. If you don't get 25 touchdowns, I need at least some rushing touchdowns.
Let us see who his receivers are to see if this is even a possibility, because I bet it's not.
It's not.
Excuse me.
Not for him, at least.
Devin Carter, Deontay Johnson, Xavier Leggett, Jonathan Mingo, David Moore, Adam Thielen. Yeah, you could get 2,500 yards somewhere in there.
Can he get 25 touchdowns?
No. Hell no. Hell no, he can't get 25 touchdowns.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Versus Adam Thielen.
All right, this is my question.
Broken down Adam Thielen, yeah.
With that, put Lamar Jackson in that offense. Can he get 25 touchdowns?
Combined? Yeah.
Can he throw for 25 touchdowns? Lamar? In Carolina.
Yeah, I guess so. Probably. I mean, I trust Lamar's skill set.
This is why I
really
say
get into his stats necessarily. I don't know how many touchdowns he threw last season, but I know he's a perennial MVP candidate. So that means he must be putting up decent numbers.
Well, here's my thing.
I think he could squeeze 6 wins, maybe 7 wins, probably out of Carolina. Just
Lamar's done it with less.
Yeah. Not less than this. Not less than that. No. Like, it hasn't been that bad since Trent Dilfer was quarterback of Baltimore. Like, this is bad. That's a bad offense.
So who's getting fired?
You almost can't even put it all solely on Bryce Young's back.
I don't put it on Bryce. I don't put it on Bryce.
Situation. I expected more out of Chuba Hubbard. Miles Sanders was a flop of a signing. I mean, Deontay Johnson. Yeah. At some point in one of these episodes, I'm going to talk about Deontay Johnson, but it ain't going to be right now. Let's just say y'all know what Deontay Johnson is. I mean, there's some hope there. You got some young receivers. Rookie receivers in there. You got a rookie running back, first, second-year receiver, so quarterback. There's hope. But it ain't going to be this year. They're still many pieces away. What the guy say about Bruno Capoclo, 2 years away from being 2 years away? That's about what Bryce Young's team is. So
he'll be 28 before that team is relevant.
Yeah. He may not be in Carolina by the time Carolina
he'll be gone and he'll be a serviceable
Taysom Hill.
No. He'll be an offensive quality assurance.
No. He's going to get a second contract. I mean, every quarterback gets a second.
Well, yeah, he'll be 28.
Especially the first pick in the draft. Yeah, even if he do flame out in Carolina, somebody's going to pick him up. But somebody always picks up the trash first rounders. They get second, even third deals sometimes as starters. So
he is not going to be a starter.
I mean, literally, his backup is Andy Dalton. If you need proof.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing about Andy Dalton for a long time was acceptable as a starter.
Worse than Kirk Cousins.
Well, I mean, that's harsh.
I guess. Well, it was a stopgap at best. He was not going to be like a 10, 12-year starter. He should not have been in any circumstance. Bryce Young, there's still hope. If some QB coach or OC, can actually reach him and mold something out of him, there's still hope there. Maybe more as a run-first quarterback where you can, fix the
That's the problem.
Skill set.
That's
like
100%
or
the problem.
But
that's 100% the problem. If they don't figure out how to start running some read options with him, then you're screwed, because that's where you're gonna succeed. Because you expect Bryce Young to be a drop back passer, you're screwed.
I mean, you're gonna have to play him out as shotgun primarily anyway, because he's 5'8" or whatever they claim he is.
But that's the reason they're going shorter with their O-line. Because he can't see over their heads. He looks like a damn toddler. And I say that about Kyler Murray all the time. Kyler Murray do not stay in behind that pocket. I don't know when the last time I've seen him stay in the pocket. He don't throw.
Yeah, sure, you at a disadvantage immediately. They was worried about that with Russell Wilson when he came in. If he was going to be tall enough, and you see how that worked out. They actually made the line smaller and faster around him. And, yeah, it wasn't a great one. I mean, Hutch was good, but it wasn't a great one.
All right.
Oh, right. That's what I'm doing. I'm losing track of myself. I do that sometimes. I believe we're at the final question. Biggest trash talking quarterback. I know by now everybody's already heard the answer to this one, but have them go backwards, build it up to the winner. So we'll start with tied with number 4, Joe Burrow and CJ Stroud. Hey, let me say that over. Joe Burrow and CJ Stroud. Because that make it sound like there's a question mark in there. CJ Stroud. Yeah. And Pat Mahomes at 11. But those are just the others. Number 3, Aaron Rodgers. Number 17, Baker Mayfield. And number 3 is Rodgers with 15. Mayfield got 17 at number 2. And number 1 is Josh Allen with 26 votes for the biggest trash talker. He's trying to be good at something, right?
Honestly, I can't give you any input on that because quarterbacks talking trash just is kind of like, I don't hear it. I don't know. I just never knew that was something. I never knew that was a thing.
Hell yeah. Shit, if you out there, it gets me if you out there and you're not talking trash, that's more surprising to me. Like, everybody out there should be running their mouth constantly. Okay. That's numerous reasons. Get in their head, keep yourself pumped up. Yes, keep that adrenaline moving. Oh, that's part of the game. I can respect it. I mean, Josh Allen, 6'6", out there, more runner than passer. Yeah, he talks shit. Baker Mayfield, I'm surprised. because Bo ain't really like that to be running his mouth. So, but C.J. Stroud, the rookie, that's shocker. That's a shocker.
Yeah, like when I heard that, I mean, I knew some of these guys are cocky, like especially Joe Burrow. Like y'all
Yeah.
crown this dude fucking
Joe
Joe
Cool.
Shiesty. They call him Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty, and I'm just like, huh. After he
I'm
lost,
just point out Joe Cool. That was disrespectful because there's only one Joe Cool, and that's Joe Montana. And don't y'all say Joe Namath, because fuck that overrated fucking pantyhose wearer. All right.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's all I had on pantyhose wearer. And I could have said he was drunk and tried to make out with Michelle Tafoya on Monday Night Football, but whatever.
I don't know what that was.
Really? Oh, that's Raiden. I'm sure, yeah.
All right, so next on our the thing that we got.
Perfection.
We're gonna discuss some of the cuts that were made.
Mm-hmm.
Only notable cuts for each team, but we're gonna go there and talk about each cut. All right. First, I want to go with the Arizona Cardinals. Their notable cut was Desmond Ridder.
Oh, that's hilarious. It's like, how much of a bust are we considering him at this point?
My bag.
Tell mommy.
And
Where
Say
does
hi.
Desmond Ridder rank among the biggest busts in NFL history at this point? Do we consider him a bust? We have high hopes for him. I mean, he got to be a starter in Atlanta for a couple years. That was a whole damn flop. And now he gets cut by Arizona. He couldn't beat out Clayton Tune for a draft spot. For a spot. He couldn't beat out Clayton Tune to be the backup. What's that say about them? What does that say about that man?
I'm outrageous.
Well, as far as Desmond Ridder goes, I actually was a fan of Desmond Ridder, but obviously I'm not seeing something that everybody else is seeing. But also, it's the Atlanta Falcons and the Arizona Cardinals. So, I mean,
Clayton Tune. He couldn't beat Clayton Tune.
well, Clayton Tune said he can elevate everybody around him. Obviously, he couldn't do
He
that.
couldn't elevate Desmond Ridder.
So maybe this is like it's a more of a fault of Clayton Tune than it is Desmond Ridder. Maybe Desmond Ridder is a good quarterback. He just can't be elevated because nobody can elevate him. No, I'll stop BSing. Desmond Ridder might be a future, like a long-term backup. He's probably in the same boat as Bryce Young because they're basically the same quarterback. Just Desmond Ridder has size. Desmond Ridder has potential to have a longer career than Bryce Young. But
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely as a backup.
yeah, because Bryce Young is not going to be able to make it in the future as a backup. If he doesn't get it together right now as a starter, yeah, it's over. Once he leaves Carolina, it's over for him. If it doesn't, I don't see. We keep getting back to freaking Bryce Young. Desmond Ridder, you are what they thought you were. You are who they thought you were. And I'm gonna move on because I can go about this for a long time.
I can tell. Hey, whatever you're passionate about, speak that shit.
The Baltimore Ravens' notable cut was wide receiver Russell Gage. I have nothing on him. So.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills made two notable cuts: Ben DiNucci and Frank Gore Jr.
Well, I hope they're bringing back Gore Jr., Ben DiNucci, whatever.
Yeah,
That once one game wonder.
yeah. Chicago Bears. Neither one of these guys are notable, but I believe this is Mark Rippon's son, Brett Rippon, and quarterback Austin Reed. Neither one of these guys I care about. Move on. The Cleveland Browns have cut the one-time hopeful running back Deontay Foreman.
Hmm.
I have
He had
nothing.
a few years.
Yeah, he had a few years. He's a serviceable backup. He'll be
Yeah.
on a team. He'll be on a team somewhere.
Probably.
Now the Dallas Cowboys had a funny situation because they listed Peyton Hendershot as a person to be cut, but right before he was cut, the Chiefs were like, "Hey, don't cut him. We want him," and they traded him over to the Chiefs. So
Nice.
that's funny. He'll finally win.
Wondering how that happened.
He'll finally win something.
Yeah, maybe.
Now the Broncos.
Maybe.
Broncos went crazy. Tim Patrick, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Samaje Perine, Angelo Blackson.
Shout out to Lil Jordan Humphrey. There's a name. There's a fucking name.
Andre Smith, Omar Brown, Art Green, Caleb Habes, Oliver Jervis, and Alec Mock.
None of those people matter.
Yeah, none of those people matter. But,
sorry, I mean, I know y'all human and somebody loves you, but y'all don't matter here in this concept.
Yeah. Tim Patrick, Jordan, and Lil Jordan Humphrey. Those two are the names that I was like, what? Because they've been there for a little while now. Philip Dorsett is still fumbling around trying to figure out where he is. It's time for you to call it quits.
Yeah, just go home and get a life. You give it up. You know, stay in shape and all that, but go coach. Yeah. Go coach high school.
Right. I got a place for you. Detroit Lions, they cut Zonovan Knight, who's probably going to end up back on the practice squad. Mm-hmm. They released Shane Zylstra, I believe that's his name, and quarterback Nate Sudfeld.
How the hell is he? Oh, he must have been a camp arm. Because there's no way in hell somebody brought him in with the intention of using him.
Green Bay Packers, they cut, and this is weird because you don't see this often, they cut kicker Anders Carlson.
Yeah. Well, usually have two in camp, from what I understand, just so you don't wear out one and you give them actual competition. But yeah, you know, you have two teams basically and whatever. Yeah, you need two kickers in camp. Somebody's got to go though.
The Packers cut Sean Clifford and Michael Pratt, both quarterbacks.
Sean Clifford will end up being a coach. Michael Pratt's out of Tulane, I think, but that's all I know about him.
Yeah.
I could even be wrong about Pratt.
The Texans cut Noah Brown. Now, what I'll say about Noah Brown is I remember when Noah Brown first came into the league, he was a Cowboy. Noah Brown was, when they got him, he was too big to play receiver, too small to play tight end. So they had him playing in the middle, and he had some skill there. And then he started losing his weight because he didn't want to play tight end. So that's what I remember from Noah Brown.
Who has the deeper receiving room even after losing Noah Brown? The Eagles or the Texans? It's like, let me just get you their okay, this is according to ESPN. I'm not going to go by their depth chart, just the order. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Robert Woods, John Mechie III, Xavier Hutchinson, and Steven Sims. I mean, they got at least four starting caliber receivers. John Mechie ain't shown shit yet. But that's a deep receiver room. Definitely deeper than the Eagles is. But like Britton Covey and Amos Smith, yeah, the Eagles room isn't proven.
Yeah.
Houston's is. I mean, this was going to be a question at some point. I might as well ask it now.
Texans definitely have a better rotational receiver room.
Is this enough also go around in Houston?
Yeah, they definitely have more rotational. They have the capabilities of being more rotational than Philly does. However, I don't think any of those receivers are going to outperform an Eagles receiver. I believe Diggs could, but I feel like you look at Nico Collins and Tank Dell, they know exactly what their roles are. Mechie, you know what his role is. Those are they're not take the top off guys. That's Stefon Diggs' thing. Tank Dell's the guy that's going to take that ball and he's going to do something with it. I think that's why the Eagles brought in Jahan Dotson, because he's that guy who can take the ball and do something with it.
Yeah, I'd say the Eagles 3 potentially is stronger than the Texans 3.
Yeah,
But as far as the depth, no, the
Yeah.
Texans
Texans
got it right
run
now.
with that because they have like I said, they have the best. They have the best situation where they can rotate receivers and
Mhm.
not lose that much productivity because I feel like if you start rotating AJ and Devontae and Jahan out, now you have a little bit of a problem
Right.
because you don't have that same talent level.
You got Johnny Wilson and Aeneas Smith coming in.
And Covey, yeah, you
And
have
Covey,
a little bit
that's
of
a
a
big drop off.
big drop off of talent,
Mhm.
and that's different with Houston. And
Right.
mind you, we're Eagles fans, so yeah,
Yeah, I
understand
mean,
that.
we're not going to lie to you.
Right.
Well,
All right, let's get back to it. Jacksonville cut Terrell Edmonds and CJ Beathard.
who?
Terrell Edmonds and CJ Beathard.
Uh,
Terrell Edmonds was an Eagle. He didn't do shit,
mhm. CJ Beathard was a nothing.
and he's still a nothing.
Yep.
Kansas
Even his
City.
mama tell him that.
Kansas City had a fun little cut session. They cut former starting cornerback Kelvin Joseph, former clipboard holder Ian Book, former starting tight end Irv Smith, former first round
That's
pick
sad.
Kadarius Toney.
Irv Smith's kind of a sad one.
Yeah,
Man,
And-
like I mean, he was supposed to be something at this point.
yeah. I mean, he was something at some point and then dropped off. I think he got
Mhm.
hurt. And then they cut criminal Justin Ross. All right,
I
so
have nothing on any of that.
yeah. Now
Wait,
I
what
think-
did Justin Ross do? Was it a speeding thing?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh.
remember it happening, but I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened.
Anyway, fuck that guy. He got cut.
Yeah. Now I feel like the Raiders might have made the biggest decision, the biggest mistake in their lives with this cut, and they cut Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman is probably the one guy who's competing for that GOAT spot. Like it's Nathan Peterman. Like let's be real, this is Nathan
Yeah.
Peterman. You don't cut Nathan Peterman. He's a
Nathan
legend.
Peterman cuts you.
Now let's move on to the
Uh,
Chargers. LA Chargers cut Donald Parham. Who?
uh, tight end. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Next.
The Vikings cut Lewis Cine or Cine. They cut him.
He was a first round pick.
Yeah, and I want to know. I want to be in that room because I want to know what the hell happened for them to cut him.
He probably happened. Should.
Yeah, he probably cut somebody out.
Right?
Dolphins cut Mike White. The Patriots cut Bailey Zappi. That
Hey, maybe they can swap.
the Saints cut James Robinson.
Sad.
The Giants
Probably
cut
won't get picked up again.
The Giants cut Allen Robinson.
Wait, wasn't James Robinson rookie of the year?
He was.
Yeah. Like he came out of nowhere in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Then they just like, up, here you go, CJ Spiller. Or was it the other one?
It was at
Well,
ETN.
Etienne, yeah. It was one of the Clemson running backs.
Yeah.
No, guess not. Whatever. Yeah.
The Giants cut Allen Robinson.
Right.
I think he
Sad.
got picked up already. Now we go to the Eagles. The Eagles cut Will Greer. We knew that was happening. He
Of
wasn't
course.
making the team. They also cut Julian Alquara, the guy they traded for. Pissed me off, Howie.
Right? He can't make it every time.
And they cut the speedster who's got a step, lost a step, John Ross. I saw this coming the minute that they brought in Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. he didn't come in and take the spot immediately, that was the sign that he wasn't able to take the spot. He should have just walked in the building and been ahead of everybody else there for that slot spot. But
I knew this was happening. I knew this was going to
Yeah.
happen. I saw this happen when I went to the Eagles live practice, and that's what made me realize that John Ross is probably going to get cut because there was a deep ball. He had the person beat, and his ball tracking skills were horrible. Like all he had to do was turn, but he didn't. He missed the ball. The ball dropped right in front of him, and he didn't even attempt to catch it. Over his
on the page about the possibility of John Ross becoming back as a kick returner, or maybe even just being a kick returner somewhere. His only skill is straight line speed, so
Yeah.
that's the only place you can utilize it except on 9 routes.
Right. All right, I got 2 more teams.
Mm-hmm.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers released Sterling Shepard.
You think they're still here listening at this point?
No.
Me either. If you are, we salute you, though. You are a trooper.
And the final one is Martavis Bryant
Yeah.
from Washington.
Those are neither one of those is unexpected or a shock at all. Also, there weren't too many shockers on that list.
No,
Lots
they weren't
of
shockers. It was just, damn, it took long enough.
A lot of players like, damn, they should have been better than they were, but it didn't pan out, and that's why they're getting cut again. So.
I feel like the only one that really shocked me was Minnesota cutting Lewis Cine.
Yeah.
I
guess. I mean, is he coming up on a re-sign or something? Is this year 4? Year 4 or 5?
Yeah, it's definitely year 4.
Okay, well, there you go.
Now, Allen Robinson, I don't understand that. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the Giants receiving core, who outperformed him?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know the Giants stats. I don't look at them. They're a clusterfuck. I'm only happy to watch them fail. I don't need to see the numbers.
All I say is this: let Joe Schoen, whatever his name, further get himself cut.
Yeah, let that man get cut. Like I'm telling you, I think I told you this earlier, but on Hard Knocks, when that man was like, I won't be able to sleep if the Eagles get Saquon, and he went to lead the room and he just stopped and stared at him. That man decided he was fired right there in that moment. He knew he's going to fire him. He's just waiting for him to fuck up. So
I feel like when I first turned on Hard Knocks, and I was actually watching this with my brother-in-law. He's a Giants fan. He turned it on, and like the first minute or so, he goes something about, "Oh, I don't think Saquon's gonna fetch any money in free agency market." And then and mind you, I saw this after the Eagles signed him. So like knowing that what I knew that happened and watching this, I'm like, this nigga signed his death wish. He's gonna get fired. And then it's out in the public. Now you don't say stupid things when there's cameras around.
Right.
And he said it not only when cameras around, but on Hard Knocks. Knowing that everybody watches Hard Knocks.
Everybody's going to hear that shit and laugh at him forever.
So
especially after he gets fired.
If he don't get fired, Junior, I'll be shocked. Because nobody's singing that man's praises.
Right. No, he looked even terrible. He looked terrible on Hard Knocks.
And this is another thing. Well, Hard Knocks showed me. Hard Knocks showed me that I am doing better as a GM of a semi-pro team than Joe Schoen is doing for a professional team that's probably paying him close to $1 million, if not tons more.
Definitely more. Definitely more than $1 million.
See, I don't get paid shit.
Right. You do it out of love of the game.
And that's why I won't make the mistakes. Say, look, listen, I have a couple players. If there's anybody out there watching that's looking, I got a couple players that I moved up to a next level. So one of my guys just got signed. So yeah, what's up? Holla at me.
Self-promotion is tight.
But that's all we have for today.
No, it's not. I got a silly little stat I want to throw out there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if she played tonight, but Angel Reese is 35 of 101 in her last 8 games with 124 rebounds, including 3 consecutive 20-point games, 20 rebound games. So she's basically missing and getting the rebound and missing and getting the rebound and missing and getting the rebound.
That should be a tech.
I mean, it's a sight. She's a beast on them boards. That's for damn sure.
She should get a tech.
She got to spend the offseason working on them layups, like big time. If you're going to be shooting around the basket, you got to get way better than 35%. Yeah.
What she needs to do, if she's getting that many shooting opportunities, she need to freaking put some ankle weights on.
Yeah, she do. She could definitely stand to get a little more stronger. Really, what I've seen, all the rookies should say, every rookie could get stronger. Put it that way.
But she need to put some ankle weights on so she can get her bunnies up.
Yeah. She's got to get better with the offhand, with the on-hand too. I mean, I ain't no basketball wizard or nothing, but I would be better than 35 of 101.
Listen,
I'm pretty sure
I would be too.
My little sister would be 35 of 101. She doesn't even play the game. So.
Listen, I'm telling you, my shooting percentage when I played basketball, it was either 3 things. It was either 100% from the field, 50% from the field, or 0% from the field. Either I missed the first time and I wasn't shooting again. I made it the first time, shot it a second time, then I wasn't shooting it again. Or I made it the first time, made it the second time, made it the third time, and I just had a good game where I just wasn't missing. But I tell you, after 5 shots, I'm stopped shooting. Even if I made them all, after 5 shots, I'm not shooting again. I got.
You don't want him on your team. Clearly, that's what you take from that statement. You run a
I'm good.
Not want him.
You
don't want me either.
I'm taking my 10 points and I'm just passing the ball the rest of the game. I remember playing basketball one day, and I was wide open from the 3-point line, and the guy passed it to me, and I said, "Do you know who I am? I'm a football player, not a basketball player." I passed it back to him. He said, "Bro, you open. Shoot it."
Get off the court.
No. He said, "Every time I pass you the ball, shoot it." So from there on, I shot it every single time he passed me the ball. And I missed. And I missed so bad. And they kept passing me the ball. I'm pretty sure I was 0-15 in that game. Good thing it wasn't organized. But I was probably 0-15, 0-25 maybe. Could have been 0-40. I don't know. But they kept telling me.
I'm about to make a name for myself, yeah. I'm about to make a name for
Basically, he kept passing me the ball. Here's my thing. I can drive to the hoop and make a layup. That's my thing. Do not expect me to take a jumper because I'm not doing it. I'm not embarrassing myself. I'm embarrassing myself enough just now by admitting it. I'm not embarrassing myself no more than that. Basketball is not my game.
It's okay. It's okay. Basketball's not for everyone. I mean, I was a starter in middle school in basketball. Yeah. So.
And to that, I say, we can't all be starters. But we are the fantasy football Avengers. Oops.
They don't know what that is yet.
That's too bad. They'll learn.
Hey, I could run it back now. It's all right.
Into the next episode that will come soon.
You want to hype it up? You want to tell them what it's about?
We got lists, and we're going to talk about lists. It's going to be lists. So just tune in. It's going to be fun. I promise. So Boulevard, let them know what they can do. Uh-oh. he's thinking.
Hit the bench.